Hello and welcome to the podcast. In today's episode, we are talking about how to unstick ourselves in our business. Whether you are a therapist or coach, there are times in the entrepreneurial journey where you just get stuck and you think, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And there's lots of ways that we can unstick ourselves, get unstuck. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode because we're going to dive in to think about some of the questions that you should be asking yourself when you get in these positions. Because let's face it, on this journey, there are going to be ups and downs. It is just what the entrepreneurial journey is like. And that can be exciting, but at times you think, well, how am I ever going to get out of this place? So let's dive in. Welcome to Women in Action, the podcast for therapists and coaches dedicated to making a difference. I'm your host, Beverly Jessup. Join us each week for inspiring conversations with remarkable women who have shattered glass ceilings in therapy and coaching. From overcoming challenges to thriving in their profession, we explore their personal journeys and strategies for success. From online practices to mindset mastery, we provide practical insights to help you excel in your field. Our goal is to foster a supportive community where therapists and coaches connect, learn, and inspire one another to create transformative change. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and empowered as we ignite your passion and equip you with the tools for impact. Thank you for joining us on this journey of growth. Let's unleash the power of women in action. Okay, so welcome back. And in today's episode, we are looking at the questions that you need to ask yourself when you are stuck in your business and you're thinking, what am I supposed to be doing? And we all get into those, what I call valleys. Sometimes it can be valleys of depression, desperation, thinking I really need to make some money. I really need to be able to sell my offer. I really need to have an impact on people. And yet we just feel stuck. So I really like journaling, and I'm a Christian, I'm a speech therapist, and I'm quite creative as well. So I have actually got two businesses in that I run a Christian art journaling retreats, and the next one is in Italy. And I'm really excited about that. So if you want to know about that, you just need to go to christianartjournaling.com/retreat. But what I want to talk about is therapists and coaches who have got their business online. And as a speech therapist myself, I see clients all over the world. I'm based here in the UK, and I have clients all over the UK as well. But I'm on a little island, and it's really difficult to just see local people on the island because there's not enough of them, or the economic culture on the island is a little bit lower than, say, on the mainland in the UK, and people are willing to pay a little bit more on the mainland than they are on the island. So that's why I've decided to go online, and I can reach more people. And so it's really important. One of the first questions I want you to ask yourself is, what have you achieved? What have you achieved? Because when you sit down and you write that down, you'll be amazed the kind of things that will come up. And I know when I was sitting down and thinking about this, sometimes we take what we know and what we've done and what we've achieved for granted. I've been a speech therapist for like over 33 years, and I've seen clients as young as 3 all the way up to 91, I think, is the oldest client I've ever had. And initially I was thinking, oh, I've only seen kids or teenagers. I can't possibly see adults who've had strokes. But yet, you know, when you drill deeper and you think, actually, I have a lot of knowledge about language and speech, you know, especially when things go wrong and people are trying to find words or their speech is unclear. What I do with children, I can actually translate and do it with adults. Actually, I don't even need any games with adults, which with children you need to kind of motivate them and have games, but I don't with adults. And so it's really important to think, well, what have you achieved? Not only have I done the 33 years, I've run a business from 2005, which was like, kids used to come to my clinic here, or I would go out into schools. And then I decided in 2015 to go completely online. And one of my first clients was actually a young man in Italy who couldn't speak at all. And he had to use a communication aid. And I was able to help him communicate using a communication aid. He had to pass 5 oral exams. I helped him pass his 5 oral exams using this electronic, using the iPad and the communication aid on his iPad. So those sort of things, I think as therapists and even as coaches, we can take for granted and think, oh yeah, that's nothing. But actually it is. And so write those achievements down. Think about even the things that where people have said to you, well, how do you do this? And you've done some training and you've shown someone how to do this. So for example, I was working with the software company, a first teletherapy software company in in Europe called Voxy Clinic, and I was giving them ideas, therapy ideas, on what sort of games to play with children. Now, this was something I'd taken for granted. Again, I thought, I make up these games. But there is something in your personality, some gifts and talents that you have that you need to be able to share with others and not take them for granted. So make sure you write every single thing down in terms of what you have achieved. And even it could be a competition that you've won, in the past. It might be something like a colouring competition. I remember winning a colouring competition when I was like 14 or something. But, that was just the start of that creativity. And now I love colouring in and I love creating things. That's something I do on the side. But it doesn't mean that it can't be used as a springboard for something else. So write down all your achievements. The next question I want you to think about is, what have you done consistently? So if you're stuck in your business at the moment and you're thinking, well, how do I get unstuck? Think about, what have you done consistently? Maybe there's things that have got the results that when you did them consistently, you got results. So for example, when I ran ads, Google ads, to get clients, I got clients. So I know how to run Google ads, and I got clients in Vancouver, I got clients in Nigeria, London, Manchester, all over the place. And they weren't just clients they were really specific, because I really did make sure that I wanted to work with a particular type of client, and they needed to be clients who were quite well off, really, who could pay the rate that I was charging. And they did. And they had a block of therapy, and it paid for my Google ads, and it was fine, because it was an ongoing thing. Once you've got the client from Google ads, you're paying, you're not having to kind of keep on getting that client. You can get other clients and you can build up your business that way. The next thing I want you to think about is, what things are holding you back? There's probably some blocks that you've had, that are holding you back from actually reaching that success. So when you sit down and write those things down in your journal, you're going to discover things that you probably didn't really realize. For example, I know I've got some money blocks. I've had some money blocks. And For a long time, I thought I only had to charge the same as everyone else. All the speech therapists in the UK were charging a set amount. I should charge the same. And then I realised, well, no. Why should I charge the same? Because I'm not the same. Okay, I've got a lot more experience than someone who's just starting out. And also, I know that I can get results. For example, I can see a child who's got a lisp, and I can, or an adult who's got a lisp, I can sort it out within 6 to 7 weeks, and it's done, it's sorted, because I have a system. So if you're giving someone results and you're transforming their life, then you should charge what you're worth and not be embarrassed about it. So the other block I know I've had, and I still have sometimes, is the shiny object syndrome. Have you ever had that where you kind of think, oh, shall I try this or shall I try that? And you kind of go around in circles. Just write it down and think, well, what? For me, I write it down and I think, well, what does God want me to do? What is the right thing? What has worked in the past that I've done consistently? And, you know, what really works? Because, you know, I'll tell you a story, actually. I stopped being a speech therapist for about 5 months last year because I thought I wasn't listening to God, actually. I was doing my own thing, and I was thinking, I will just go and be this disability assessor. All I have to do is listen to these people on the telephone, write down their report, and there you are. It'll be really easy. But it wasn't easy at all, because even though I've written tribunal reports, SEN reports, medical legal reports, I've written quite a lot complex reports, but these reports were different. And not only were they different, every single day I had to ask these clients who had various disabilities, not necessarily speech disabilities, they had physical disabilities as well. I had to ask them the question about suicidal intent, and I got so depressed. And it took actually my son to say to me, Mum, why are you doing this job? You never cried as a speech therapist. You enjoyed your job and you had an impact on people. And why are you doing this job? So I gave him my notice, and within 4 days of giving him my notice, I actually only had to give 5 days notice, but within 4 days of giving my notice in, I had 4 offers of speech therapy positions. 3 of them were online, 1 was offline. And, it was just amazing how it almost felt like God was saying, this is what you're meant to do. And stop being so stubborn. And I needed to realize that. And maybe sometimes you are, you're going around in circles because you're thinking, oh, that's another shiny object. Oh, I can do that. And then it isn't what you're meant to do. So think about that. Maybe it's perfectionism. Maybe you're thinking, I can't possibly do this because it's not going to be perfect enough. I'm quite techie, and if you go to my website, a lot of that I produce myself. I really love creating websites, and I actually do it for other speech therapists as well, other therapists, coaches. But there are times when I think, but I'm not a web designer, or, oh, it doesn't look perfect enough. But it will do. It does work. And so just knowing that you don't need to be good enough. You don't need to be perfect enough. You don't need to kind of stop yourself because you haven't got the qualification or you haven't got the knowledge or skills. You can find all those things if you look hard enough. And it is those things shouldn't hold you back. And the final thing I want you to ask yourself is, why haven't you made it financially? Now, I think that's quite a hard question. Why haven't you made it financially? And when you sit down and write down that question, think about, are there things that you should have been doing that you didn't do? Things that worked in the past that you're not doing now for some reason. So for me, for example, I have got an email list. I've got quite a big email list, but have I nurtured it? And now I'm sort of thinking I should tell them about this podcast. I should tell them how they have got hopes and dreams for their business and how they're going to get it out there. How are they going to get out there if they just don't tell people about what their dreams are for their business? Because there's someone out there who needs that. I know that there are therapists and coaches out there who need a website, for instance, and need to get off and do it, and yet they are going around in circles because they think, oh, what should it look like? Should it look like so-and-so's website? No, it doesn't need to look like that. But I'm not going to go into a website, but I'm just saying that might be something that you're not doing. Maybe it's like, you're thinking, well, I want to start this business, but I just don't know what to charge. Maybe you're not charging enough. That's why you're not making that financial difference and you're not having a financial breakthrough. Maybe it's because you're just not clear. What is your offer? Who are your clients? Who do you really want to serve? Because there might be things that you know in your heart that you can serve people, but actually you're not doing it because you don't really know who those people are and what their problems are and how you're going to serve them. And you don't have to get all salesy about it, because actually selling is just serving others wherever their need is. So I've got a client who is a fantastic speech therapist who is able to serve people with who's on the autistic spectrum, and they have been either thrown out of school or they have got involved with the criminal justice system, or because they've got difficulties with understanding, with their social skills and things like that. And she helps them with that, so that she gives them a hope and a future. And that sort of person, I want them to get out there. And so I built their website for them so that they can get out there. And you are worthy. Maybe you might be thinking, I haven't made it financially because I'm not worthy. I want you to ask yourself, why do you think that? Okay, so that's it for me. And if you want to know more about Maven Business Haven, I have actually got a shop I want to share with you. My screen, so bear with me while I do this. I've got 2 workbooks that you might be interested in looking at, and I think the first one is called, can you see this? It's called Purpose, Passion and Persistent Journal. Okay, and I'm going to just share the whole thing with you. But really what I want you to think about is it is different from other journals because you've got some questions and some answers, and we will be looking at really digging in deeper in the whole journaling process. Okay, so we've even got a progress tracker here. So we'll be looking at breakthrough moments. We're going to be looking at growth wins, learning points, mindset shifts, strategy update. We'll also be looking at connection insights, innovation thoughts, and barriers, addressing those challenges. Okay, so I'm not sure whether you can see this, but there are actually 162 pages. And so if you go to Maven Business Haven and you go to the shop, you will see that you can get that for only £7. All you have to do is click here, and for £7 you'll be able to pay there on site. The other one I've got is called the Christian Woman's Who Am I journal. And there we'll be looking at your values, your strengths and weaknesses, your moments that made you, the people that have shaped you, and how you relate to others, your past, present, and future selves. It will be an amazing book for you to get, a journal. So just head over to thechristianartjournaling.com/shop, or you can get it all in the Maven shop. So that's it for me today. I will stop sharing and I will see you again. Take care, everyone. See you next week. Before we wrap up, I want to extend an invitation to visit Maven Business Haven. As Proverbs 16 verse 3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." Transform your passion for speech therapy and coaching into a thriving practice with ease. Say goodbye to the tech overwhelm and hello to a strategic website system that propels your business forward. Let's build your dream practice together effortlessly. At Maven Business Haven, you'll find freebies, mini courses, a shop of beautiful journals and planners, advice on tools to help you build your online practice with ease, and of course the podcast to inspire and help you make an impact in the world. Visit us today at mavenbusinesshaven.com and let's take your practice to new heights.